So our study is on AI-driven reflective practices, creating safe space for teachers' growth in a hierarchical education system. Now, reflective practices is a well-established method for professional growth. When we say reflective practices, the way we understand is it's a critical thinking about one's own thinking and actions, which is basically metacognition, rather than a mere cognitive process. However, the ability to engage in authentic reflection is often constrained by institutional hierarchies, cultural norms, and fear of judgment. Fear of judgment can make educators hesitant to critically analyze their own practices, and seeking feedback from colleagues and supervisors involve trust building and social complexities. Emerging research suggests that AI-driven tools such as ChatGPT offer an environment for self-assessment without hierarchical constraints. Now, there is limited research on how digital tools, particularly AI, can mitigate these barriers by offering a judgment-free psychological safe space for reflection. And our research question is how do AI-driven tools like ChatGPT provide teachers with a perceived safe space for reflection? Now, this inquiry moves beyond technical application of AI and critically examines its potential role in supporting reflective teaching practices. Now, the methodology we employ is action research. While action research involves a cyclical intervention, our study currently is at initial findings of the ongoing project, and right now we are focusing on an initial qualitative exploratory approach to establish the baseline data for future interventions. The data was collected using a semi-structured interviews conducted with 4 teachers, and purposive sampling was used to ensure variation in school settings, teaching experiences, and subject areas. So we had 2 teachers from international schools, 2 from national schools, coming from rural setting, and all of the teachers' experience varied from novice to experienced, and the grade levels were from early years all the way to middle school. And a qualitative analysis specifically examined the teachers' existing reflective habits and their feedback-seeking behavior, their awareness and use of AI tools in professional development, and the barriers to open discussions on teaching challenges and institutional hierarchies. Now, the extent to which AI is perceived as a judgment-free space for reflection was also considered. The influence of AI-generated feedback on teachers' confidence and instructional strategies. Now, when we did the data analysis, we used thematic analysis using an inductive approach to extract the key themes from the participants' responses. And in that, the process that we followed is we transcribed it, then we familiarized ourselves with the data and generated the initial codes, and we searched for themes, and finally we reviewed the themes. And what emerged were 3 themes: the seeking and receiving feedback in teaching, and AI as an aid for teaching practices, AI as an accessible and efficient reflection partner. And the inferences that we made from these themes are: some teachers felt comfortable seeking feedback from the colleagues, while others were selective due to fear of judgment. Now, teachers initially hesitated to take feedback from leadership, but became more open over time, especially after experiencing the benefits. Now, the structural hierarchy in school sometimes prevented or deterred the teachers from asking for feedback, particularly from supervisors or principals. And there's a fear of judgment even from colleagues and supervisors was also a barrier. They also pointed out that there's limited time when they are asking colleagues for feedback, and also there's a constraint for open discussions on teaching reflections, also due to fear of judgment. AI was perceived as a judgment-free space, allowing teachers to ask questions without fear of criticism. Some teachers used AI to refine their thoughts and ideas before sharing them with their colleagues and supervisors. Now, AI provided a psychological safe space where teachers could repeatedly ask the same question in different formats, and they got the response catering to their prompts. All have identified the potential of AI as an aid to improve their teaching practices in their own context. Now, they used it for their lesson planning, for differentiation, when they had special needs children, even for them, age-appropriate modifications, and alternative teaching methodologies. Now, trust in AI was established, with teachers acknowledging that AI enhanced their work. While AI was useful for technical and procedural support, teachers had not previously considered AI as a reflective tool. But through this interview, they became willing to explore its potential beyond cognition to a more metacognitive level of thinking about their own thinking. Now, our study is delimiting in the following way. It focused on teachers' perception, not AI's effectiveness. It examines AI for reflection, not assessment. And we are aware of the data privacy and the ethical consideration that AI brings along with it. Our limitation was the number of participants, also the limited scope of our initial findings because it is in the initial stages and it's not yet entered into its action research format. Teachers' digital literacy affected AI's usability because some of the teachers were only 4 months into using AI. And the researchers, both of the researchers' bias and subjectivity is also noted as a limitation. The future scope, while the study provides critical insight into AI-driven teacher reflection, future research could explore the continuous improvement across hierarchy, which is both top-down and bottom-up. Rather than just seeing it for reflection of the teachers, it could also explore how leadership could reflect on their perspectives on how their interaction with the students or even their teachers are. It also looks at a hybrid. The future research could also look at a hybrid feedback model where teachers, the schools, could integrate AI along with the structured mentorship programs for teachers. That is an AI along with peer mentoring. AI literacy training. Teachers must be trained to critically assess AI-generated insights. And final thought: AI fosters a psychological safe space for teachers to reflect, but it must be embedded within a broader culture of professional dialogue rather than seen as a replacement for human mentorship. Thank you for your time.